I am the founder of Browns of Chester, which was founded in 1780. So I founded this business in 1771, myself and my sister Elizabeth, and we used to run a haberdashery and a drapery store right here on Eastgate Road. See, our parents were hatters, and they made hats here as well in Chester, and maybe that's where we got the inspiration from. So we then started trading from Browns of Chester, and it was open 230 years. And my sister Elizabeth, she used to go down to London to go and collect things, to bring up to Chester, to sell to the people of Chester. And it was called Harrods of the North. The crypts, the tea rooms, were very fancy and fun. And then 4 on the floors of mostly fashion and then homeware as well, actually. Well, it wasn't just 2, we had 3, so it's myself, the founder, Elizabeth, my sister, used to go down to London and get things from London, bring them to South Chester. And then we also had a female foreman, Miss Legg, who used to run the management team. Yeah, so three formidable women running a business in 1700s.
Well, yes, good afternoon. It's nice to be here, and it's very nice to see you here. We've got wonderful artefacts here from the Grosvenor Museum. It's only just opened, of course, about 10 years ago, and it's well worth seeing because you can see all these wonderful things that we found as an archaeologist, which I found using my little brush and my little trowel, digging in the earth and finding all sorts of things. Roman coins, for example. And this is something we found not so long ago. It's not a trunk of an elephant or anything like that, but it is actually a handle, and it's a Roman handle, and you can probably see on the handle the name of the person who made it. And if you, yes, sort of like that, my assistant will show you. And it has a name, doesn't it?
Amphorium.
An amphorium, a probably container for what? Wine?
Wine, water, and then you can even store, for instance, like rice or anything which is like the grain side on as well. To preserve it there.
What else have we got here? This young lady is a mine of information.
We've also got a Roman keyring, which is quite interesting. So similar sort of concept, and this would be used mainly for perhaps like a chest of drawers to store their like jewellery, their belongings.
And would you wear it actually as a ring as well, or is it just?
Mainly as a ring, or you could have like a leather strap, you could wrap it around as like a necklace.
Oh right, so you knew where your key was. Quite a good idea, really.
Yes,
It's
clever.
a very small finger, though. Small finger.
They were a lot smaller back then. And then also, this one's quite interesting as well, because this one is a handprint as well on the pottery, which is really interesting. And then we've got some mid-century pottery in here as well, in an old chocolate box here. And we've got some tools that an archaeologist would use as well.
And this is a typical archaeologist trowel. The one archaeologist trowel that is recommended by the Chester Archaeological Society, made by WHS, and it's actually very, very strong indeed. You can use it in 2 ways. On an archaeological dig, of course, you're always pulling the soil towards you and moving backwards, so you don't corrupt the site as you go. So you're kneeling in the ground, pulling backwards. Or, if you want to, you can use it that way. If it's a bit harder, you can get a little bit of flex. But this is the number 1 tool. We've got some other tools here, a little tape measure, of course. We need to measure up the site. And
detailing brush as well.
Brush, that's
small
right.
sections.
Absolutely.
And larger sections as well.
Indeed. And of course everything has to be measured, and this is a measuring tool for that purpose, a caliper. And you just, if you wanted to find how wide a particular article was, you could just pop the caliper over it, tighten it just gently, and then on your ruler you would just find out, oh right, well that is obviously 2 1/4 inches, and therefore you would know how wide and how the size of the thing is.
And then interestingly as well, during the Victorian period as well, they used to stamp most of the artefacts as well, so this is most likely found during the Victorian era as well, so this is some decorative Roman pottery.
Thank you very much. You've been. I hope we've interested you, and this is my trusty magnifying glass, which, as you can see, works a treat. So I'm glad that you've been here today. My assistant Holly has been wonderful. My name is Frederick McIntosh, and I work at the museum, and I've been an archaeologist for a very, very, very long time.
Been on the road.
Been on the roads, right? Do you know what they are?
Not really.
Right, okay. All of this doesn't exist anywhere else, so what we're talking about, 13th century, most of it, 13th century. At one point, all would have essentially been major towns and cities, shops and 2 levels, medieval ones, you know. But at this point though, we're talking grade 1 listed, so only place in Europe to actually, you know, have any of that. Sound good?
Yeah.
Just about, yeah? Maybe? Right, fair enough. Any questions about any of the stuff we got on display? Technically, it's borrowed from my master, but you know, he's not here. He's away on business. You know how it is, you know. Former mayors and all that malarkey. So that's actually him over there, believe it or not. So we're talking Thomas Cowper. So he was mayor back in 42, 1642. You know, not 1942. As you said, you're from the future, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's all a bit weird, really. I mean, you do look a bit different, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, where are your breeches, young man? What's happened to these? Eh? They've been stretched, haven't they? Yeah, maybe a little bit. What's that in your pocket there?
A phone and water.
You're drinking water.
Yeah.
You know, you're not drinking ale, young man. You should be drinking a good ale. Get one from one of the serving wenches down there. A nice ale on you. Drinking water for, honestly. You don't want to get, you don't want to get cholera, do you?
No.
No. And what's that thing there then?
A phone.
I don't know what that is. It looks like some trickery magic device to me. Yeah, you haven't seen like any witches or anything, have you?
Not that I know.
You know my boss when he were young. We reckon he actually wrote a book all about it's called The Discovery of Witches, 1617. Look it up. He was a Puritan back there, very, very, honest young man, writing about witches. Warns in it, all about the ones to look out for, not the bad ones. It's the blessers, it's the good witches you got to watch out for. Bad witches go to the gallows, they get hung, don't they? What about those blessers? They're going to the gallows on their testimony. They're carrying on their witchcraft. No one ever disturbs them ever again, making them more dangerous. And he becomes our mayor, 1641. You know all of this though, most people don't realise Civil War caused a lot of damage in Chester. Today, you wouldn't know about it, would you?
No.
Now, between us, I don't know, what do you think of Charles I? King of England, what do you think of him? What do you make of him? Be honest.
They're decent.
You reckon? He's been trying to invade Ireland and Scotland. Seen the damage he's done to the lowlanders. He ruled for 11 years without parliament. Now we're talking 11 years without parliamentary rule. He's trying to take illegal ship taxes. They're expecting him to lead an invasion of Ireland. Why would you want that little man leading an invasion of Ireland? Seriously.
The Richard daughter for a 15th century weaver. As you can see with all my gear, my leather shoes, my leather socks over there. So this is me. I am a living replica, as such, a recreation. Rather than trying to find Richard Dodd and bury him and put him on the table to put off the hunter, they thought, let's hire someone that would him and look a bit like that.
So it wasn't this good looking in real life, is that what you're saying?
I can't say. I've never met the man, so I think it'd be unfair, but yeah, I don't want to talk down on the siege rather, but thank you.
It's very honourable.
No, thank you. Well, thanks for your insight.
It's interesting as well, like the leather. So obviously medieval Chester was very famous for its leather hide production regarding that, because it was different to some places, just because obviously we would tan the hide here, but also we would make stuff as well. Yeah. So we'd make all sorts, which was rare for Chester, compared to other places that might do one or the other. Which is really interesting.
Are they a fair?
They are not.
No, they're not.
So this one here, it's just the sole.
Yeah.
But that's actually an adult shoe, but it's shrunk down slightly. We think maybe because of how it's been preserved in the ground.
Right.
So you can kind of just see where the seam is as well, where they would have stitched it.
Yeah, I can see that.
As well. We've got another one here.
Very pointed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very pointed. We've got another one here, which is obviously for a chime, but it's a slightly better preserved. You can see with this one how it would have been, how it would have come around the shoe. That's our leather high shoes.
Where from? Do we know?
We don't know where they're found, unfortunately. Just
Sold it to.
I'd say we don't know exactly. A lot of this comes from, I know, we've got a set of large keys here as well. So this large key might have been used in something for like a door or a very large chest. And then we've got another key here which is a lot smaller. And that might have been for like a lockbox, and it might have been to keep something a lot smaller. What else have we got? We've got Thomas Beckett's Amplia. And so these are recreations, but they would have been used a lot of the time by pilgrims, and would have been taken on long trips, essentially. And they would have carried holy water or some like holy oils.